The husband, he went for a vacation to Estes Park ahead of Denver, such beautiful scenery. He loved it, and he wrote a note back to his wife. I am really enjoying it here. I wish you were here. I wish you were here. H-E-R-E. Unfortunately, his wife missed out the last E. And she said, my husband has written, I wish you were here. Oh my God, who is this lady that he has got with him? So she distorted the knowledge. Knowledge that doesn't correspond to facts, that is a creation of our imagination, is the vikalp. One person used to tell me, he used to travel with me a little bit, and his theory, because I was new to America, he used to tell me, when we would see those planes, F-16s going up and they would leave a smoke trail, he would say, Swamiji, out here, you know what they do? The top secret documents, they are put in the plane and they are disintegrated and thrown down like smoke like this. Other people will have you to believe that Russians have fitted some kind of phones in your ears and they are eavesdropping on you. One lady, she came out of the mall with her groceries and she placed the groceries in the seat behind in her car and sat down on the driver's seat, when all of a sudden there was an explosion. Something hit her hard on the back of her neck and she thought that she had been hit by a bullet. She put her hand behind and she realized that her brains are popping out. And she understood it is now an urgent matter. She just has to keep them in place until somebody comes to the rescue. She continued to sit there for 1 hour until a passerby realized there is something wrong and called the police. The police came and said, lady, please open. She said, I can't. If I do, my brains will fall out. They had to take screwdrivers and yank the door open. And they discovered in the grocery basket was a pressurized Pillsbury biscuit packet that had exploded. And the dough had hit her here. And she was thinking that her brains were popping out. There was no correspondence to facts at all. So this is false knowledge that doesn't correspond to any kind of reality. Now you people are laughing, but all of us have the tendency to do these kinds of things. We create all concepts with no reality, and then based on that we develop our beliefs. Once I was in Seattle and one lady came to me and said, Swamiji, should I move out of Seattle? I said, what happened? She said, somebody has told me that there will be a calamity and all of the West Coast will disappear. So should I sell my house and go somewhere else? I said, look, the chances of such a thing happening are very, very remote. Why don't you take the chance and remain right here? Now that was 15 years ago. In the year 1893, one German school teacher called Wilhelm von Osten, he had a stallion whom he called Clever Hans. And this Clever Hans, he was able to teach how to understand human language. Now, a horse able to understand human words. So, for example, if we ask Clever Hans, what is 3 plus 5? Clever Hans would respond with 8. He had his way of responding. He would start hitting its hoof on the floor. Tap, 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 until the answer came, then it would stop. It's not that the Clever Hans stallion got all answers right, but it was the only stallion in the world who got quite a lot of them right. And it became the toast of all Berlin. Oh my God, have you heard of that horse? Until in 1903, the head of the Berlin Psychology Society sent his student Oscar Funks to look into the matter. Oscar Funk saw the whole thing, and he wondered that why was it that when Wilhelm von Osten was in front, the horse could give answers, and when he was standing behind, he could not give answers. And why was it that the horse was not able to give answers that Wilhelm von Osten did not know? And then discovered what was happening was, when this Osten would ask the question, what is 7 plus 4? He would apprehensively look at the horse, and the horse would start tapping its hooves. And when the answer 11 came, which he knew is right, he would imperceptibly just straighten himself a little, which the horse could perceive, and it would stop. Osten was shocked because he really believed that the horse is understanding. Only thing was that horse was understanding something else, and he was assuming it to be something else. So this is the false conception based upon distorted understanding. What is its relevance to us? Bhagavatam says, Anitya anatma dukkheshu viparyaya matirhyaham. We people have created 3 distorted understandings. The first is the temporary things of the world. We have started thinking they will always remain with me. Though we know one day we will leave it all and go away. When the billionaire leaves, do people ask, how much did so and so take with him? The question is, how much did the Nagar Seth leave behind? And the answer is everything. Nobody can take anything at all. Somebody said, a poet, दुनिया में खूब कमाया, क्या हीरे क्या मोती, लेकिन क्या करें यारों, कफन में जेब नहीं होती. See, the shroud that covers the dead body is called kafan. It doesn't have pockets. So I earned so much, but that shroud did not have pockets. I could take nothing. In fact, that cloth also was only an accompaniment till the cremation ground. When the fire was lit, it was also finished. We know this. But how much do we prioritize the treasures of the soul that will go with us? And how much do we remain stuck in the things that we will leave behind? Our false prestige, our name and fame, our social status, these, they completely engulf our mind. So this is the anitya which we are thinking to be nitya. And the second is anatma. The anatma is the body, and the atma is the soul. But we have got into this conception that this body is me, and that is why it is such a high priority in our value system. Now, if you were to go to science for an answer, science doesn't have a concept called the soul. So how does science explain consciousness in the body? Because this body is made out of molecules and atoms, and they don't possess consciousness. And when they were combined in the form of the body, how did consciousness come into the body? Mr. Scientist, please tell me. Say, it doesn't exist in atoms and molecules, but when they all get together, that combination created consciousness. However, the question is, if we are atoms and molecules, there is no explanation for free will, the freedom of choice. We all know that we have free choices, but nobody can explain on the basis of science where do these free choices come from. I ask AI scientists, is AI aware of what it's doing? What do you think? Is AI aware of what it's doing? Awareness is a consequence of life. Awareness is a consequence of consciousness. AI is not conscious. It doesn't have any awareness. It is a bunch of algorithms. It's like there's somebody sitting on that side who doesn't know Chinese. But you send a message in Chinese, and it knows if this message comes, I have to respond like this. You say, wow, brilliant Chinese scholar sitting there. Likewise, it is with AI. It doesn't have life. Where did life come from? A Nobel Prize winner in physiology, Albert Georgi, he said, in my search for consciousness, I ended up with electrons and protons. Somewhere down the line, life slipped out of my hands. Now in my old age, I am retracing my steps to understand the basis of life. In America, there is a class of philosophers called consciousness philosophers. They keep on discussing and debating the source of consciousness. If they accepted Shabd Praman of the Vedas are saying there is inside you a spiritual entity called the soul from which life is coming. So the anatma we have decided is the atma, and dukkheshu, the pleasures of the world that actually give us immense misery, we have decided they will actually give us happiness. It is like that one guy who died and he was promoted to heaven. And he was extremely disappointed in heaven. He said, where are all the Bollywood stars and all the politicians, etc.? God told him they are in hell. He said, in that case, God, hell must be the place to be. Can you send me there for 3 days to just check it out? God said, all right. When he arrived in hell, he received a VIP treatment. His legs were massaged in perfumed oil and great wonderful breezes were blowing. He was ornamented and fed a sumptuous feast. He said, wow, this is life. After 3 days, he went back to God and said, is it possible to get a permanent transfer? God said, sure. He was back in hell, but everything had changed. Everything. Now the hot wind was coming and some devils were throwing burning oil upon him and insects were making houses and people were whipping him. He said, what is this? They said, this is hell. What was that I saw on my 3-day trip? They said, that is a visitor's model we keep for guests. Likewise, the material energy Maya, it creates the illusion of happiness. You know, in India, the biggest function in your life is the marriage function. The Dulha Raja is put on the horse and with band baja he is brought. And the big thing is, he is going to get tons and tons of happiness. After that, the band baja that happens, nobody asks. Is there anybody here who's married and also happy? So, the dukkheshu, we are thinking there is sukh in it. This is the distorted knowledge that we have cultivated.